Hi, my name is Navdeep Buddha, and I'm in 7th grade, and I'm competing in the mobile apps category. This is my app, What's the Snake? What's the Snake is an app that uses AI and machine learning to show what snake it is. It tells the breed and the type, and if it's venomous or poisonous. So you might be wondering, why What's the Snake? There are 46 species of snakes in Georgia alone, and only 5% of them are venomous. Now, you might be wondering, well, not that many people are scared of snakes, right? Well, you're wrong. Almost 64% of people are scared of snakes. And this probably isn't even all of them, because I don't know a single person who's not afraid of snakes. But people should know that snakes aren't that bad, and that this app could show people that and help people when they see a snake and won't be scared immediately and think that they're going to get poisoned. So, yeah. So, I'm going to start demonstrating it. So, first of all, you get put onto the screen. Now, you could select the camera button and click on it. You get put into the screen. You click on the photo library and you can see your photos. Let's say I want to see what snake this is. I click on choose. I click on the camera button again, and it tells me with the 98% certainty that it's a copperhead, and with 0.90% chance it's a rattlesnake. So with this, we know that the copperhead is venomous. So you will know to stay away from it and to leave it alone for the time being until someone can come and take it out to a place where it's a good environment for the snake. Now that's basically the app. Now you might be wondering, this is AI, right? Well, yeah, this uses machine learning from Apple's Core ML software. Core ML uses data to um, see how to train it. So basically, to use it, you train the model and then you test the model. So let's see how I tested the model out. So let's go to the testing folder. Okay, so here's the testing and training folder. Now over here is the training folder. Over here, this is where all the images and all the snakes are put. So I have 5 images in each place. So 25 images that are trained and tested. Now over here, I have the testing model. Over here, I have 1 image in each one to test it to see if it actually works. So over here, we can see I imported the training data and the testing data. So how I trained it was, over here it shows that I trained it. And over here, this is the precision, 100% precision. Right? And yeah, so that's basically the AI. So the AI part is definitely one of the hardest parts because getting the models, figuring it out, and importing it into the products is very hard and not easy to do. And took me a long time too. So now you might be wondering, well, how did you design it? It must have been pretty hard. Well, yeah, I designed it using the Adobe XD software. So with Adobe XD, you can basically just see the app and demonstrate it. So this is my Adobe XD design. I designed this from scratch, and I basically just use the UI components of Adobe XD to make it. And from here, I imported it into my Xcode project, which is over here. So now where all the coding actually happens. So over here is the main storyboard. This is where all the stuff actually happens visually. So from Adobe XD, I imported it into Xcode by using images and putting it into assets. And over here is all the assets that I used for the project. Now, on the storyboard, you can see a ton of image views. All of these are image views because you can see it's basically just pictures in Xcode. And over here is a text field. Now, you can't really see anything in it, but it's a text field, and that's where it classifies. So now let's move on to the launch screen.storyboard. So when the app launches, it's basically like a 5 second delay. And you don't want to be a white screen, so over here I designed a little launch screen. So now on to like the real coding part. So where all the coding actually happens is in viewcontroller.swift. So in viewcontroller.swift, you link up every single one of these into the programming place. So as you can see, I outputted the image view to here, I outputted the text and the button camera. So let's start from the top. So first of all, I used 3 things for this app. I used UIKit, which is the UI, and what I used to design the app and make the app, and it's basically the core of Swift, which is a programming language that I used. Next is CoreML, which is the machine learning software that I used and how I imported it into Xcode. And last is Vision, which uses cameras, and yeah, it's basically just Cameron plugin for Xcode. So over here, I have the button camera. So over here, I have the image view and how I coded it. So it basically just shows the camera, but this is not all of it. There's a lot more, which is in the image picker. So over here is the view did load. Now view did load is really important because whenever the view is loaded, which is basically whenever the app is loaded, it loads this line of code. And this line of code is to change the text to select the camera button, which when you saw at the beginning, it said select the camera button because of this line of code. Now over here we have the image picker, but this is just another line of code that just puts a variable here, which I'll explain more on that later. Now over here I have just more coding for the CoreML, which CoreML takes a lot of code to put into Xcode and for Xcode to understand that it's in. And over here, when I imported the picture, you might have seen that I was able to crop and scale it. That's because of this line of code. And I also have a lot of debug stuff, like how the text output here says failed to load Vision ML model and classifying. So yeah, basically it's just a lot of that stuff. Now over here is where the actual classification comes in to hand. So I see the classification by using this line of code, and I'm able to put it into strings and play it on the screen by using this. So I put the confidence, which is you saw over there like 100%, and you can see it from here. And I have the first identification, which tells the most accurate one what it thinks it is, and it shows the second one over here, which it might be. And last, it shows what it could be and like the text that it shows to make it look cleaner. So that's basically all the code. But then we also have the image picker. So in the image picker, we have just code that just picks the image. So just nothing too complicated, just shows you the camera roll and the photo library, and cancel, just all the stuff you saw when I was picking the image. And yeah, it basically just goes on like that. And yeah, so that's it actually. So first of all, next. What involvement did the parents and teachers have? That was a question that most people asked. So my parents obviously just took care of me, and like it took me a lot of time on the screen for me to code this app, as you know, doing AI and this stuff takes a lot of time and effort. So yeah, they didn't actually code the app. I actually coded it. I have a lot of experience. I've been coding for many years. But this was actually the second time I've ever actually messed with CoreML and AI. So I'm getting better at it. I've learned a lot from this competition so far, yeah. Now next, what was the how long did it take me to create the project? It took me about 4 days to plan it, do everything, execute everything. Well, not 4 days, maybe like 3 days. But um, yeah, it took me a lot of time, and every day I put in like at least like 4 hours, 3 hours. Not too much though. I didn't put in that much. And what part was the most fun for me? So the part that was most fun for me was the machine learning part. So doing machine learning is obviously like really fun. It's hard and it takes a lot of effort, but it's at the end of the day when you see it working and coming out properly, it fixes everything, honestly. And yeah, so that's basically everything you need to know about the app. So now I'm going to tell the documentation. So over here, you could read the documentation and credits of what I used, the pictures I used, the logos that I used, how I edited the video, and yeah. And over here, you can see the storyboard of how I designed it. And over here, you can see the process flow of how it's supposed to work and how I designed it to work and how, yeah. So thanks for watching. That's the app, and I hope you enjoy your day. Bye.